a term?
The naughties.
The naughties. Like N-A-U, how do you say N-A-U-G-A-T-I-E-S, whatever.
Why the naughties?
That's what they call it. Naughties. Because like 0, naught. For 0.
How's it spelled? Like noughts?
N-A.
Like noughts.
Yeah, like noughts
and
then I-E-S, yeah.
That's a bit stupid.
That's
I think I would say with millennials, because even though we might have been born before the new millennium,
we weren't active in
exactly. We were still kids. We're still kids. You know, I think we'll classify as millennials. Anyway, guys, so as you can probably just see from some of our talk, we're going to be discussing about actually a topic. It's going to be quite short today, a bit shorter than usual, but a topic that is off something I saw during the week about a comparison between the millennials of today, young people like us, and let's say the generation before us, our parents. If you want to go into history, you know, what, mid-90s, kind of late 90s.
To be honest, I'll just say anything before 2000. Anything before 2000, I feel like they were living a different kind of life.
100%. And actually, I think this might even be a part 1, because I think it makes sense to actually bring in someone who is of our generation before, you know, to give their take on it. But we're gonna go ahead and shoot anyway, because what intrigued me about that video was the older, more experienced woman that was talking about us as millennials, was saying how most of us, you know, don't know what it is to work hard in the workplace.
No, that person, that
we
woman,
don't know.
she go for the conservative. 100%.
Probably so. 100%. Listen, I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get into politics. I don't even want to get into politics.
So today,
no.
Nah, that's it. Yeah.
Boris Johnson and Trump. I'm sorry, they look like cousins, brothers.
Chuckle brothers.
There's something going on. Both of their hairs, anyway. We'll get into that. We'll try and contain it. Might even have another episode actually. You know, to bring on. Yeah, why not? Definitely 110%. Because no one. Anyway, let's go back to the topic at hand. So basically, this older aged woman, more experienced, was saying how us millennials are lazy. We don't know. We like to stay in bed. We don't know what it is to work hard. She mentioned like various different points of like, we don't know what it is to be loyal at work, to give our best, you know, to make sacrifices, so on and so forth. And then the other younger lady was, you know, more or less our age, was giving the example of how actually we work smarter now. We know our worth. You know, we don't have to necessarily be working as many hours in that context as you guys. So on and so forth. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about. The title will be decided after, you know, we do
millennials versus pre-millennials.
Yeah, why not? Something like that. Whether you're hearing this, watching it on whatever kind of platform. But I think that's a good conversation, you know, to talk about, you know, and to start. I personally think that there are two sides to it, but especially like we come from like African backgrounds, I think you already see the conflict from at home, you know, regarding that. Yeah. You know, I think we had a conversation once as well where
I thought we talked about something. Kind of gone a little bit into.
Yeah. I think you gave the example of your mum or dad might say, oh yeah, this so and so is doing well for themselves in music or marketing or branding, whatever. That's not the conventional doctor, banker, whatever. But that can't be you. Or you have to go down this path. Yeah.
They want you to focus primarily and solely on the educational route, on the academical side. And they don't actually see the whole creative side or whatever, whether it's sports, music, whatever it is. They don't see that side unless you start bringing in the serious money.
Yeah.
Unless you start bringing
even then, because I heard, it was either John Boyega or it was that guy. What's the guy's name in Get Out?
David, no, is it Daniel Kalu or something?
Yeah. Even one of them said how apparently I think I watched it 2 years ago, the interview, but until that day, the dad was still saying, when are you going to finish your degree? Or stuff like that.
You know what's so funny? Because, what do you call it? One of my friends was saying that, Wilfred Ndidi that plays for Leicester, he's still studying, so he's doing a degree at DMU. Yeah. He's doing a degree at DMU, and I think it must have come up on the TV or something like that. And then he was saying that, his mum was like, "Oh wow, look at this boy. He's even playing football and still doing the degree." And like, it just goes to show they love education. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But in this generation, there's more than just going down the whole educational route. There's other ways that you can succeed. There's other ways that you can make a living. There's other ways that you can make money. To be honest, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think also like when you look at it from a social aspect, I was even thinking about it today how from looking at our parents, I don't think we don't have much, if not anything, to say of how they worked. How hard they worked for us, and the sacrifice that they made. But when you grow up, watching the good, the bad, whatever, you also come to your own conclusions. So in that context, I don't think it's wrong to also say, okay, you know what, sometimes our parents worked so much that they didn't have a social life. But they probably wanted to have a social life. And to the extent sometimes they didn't have time for family. Like sometimes my mom would be she's a nurse, she would work in like morning and then she'll come back home and then she's going out again, and even though they might want to be even around for certain times of the year, like for example it's Christmas now, the next day she has to go and work. So, and I think it's kind of weird as well, because going back to the example of talking about our parents, I'm sure they don't want us to go through that. Maybe not that exactly. But then there are some people who might critique us and say, no, you don't know what sacrifice, what hard work is. But I think there's a balance, of like working hard, but being efficient. Sometimes hard work is not. It's different. And productivity is a difference.
That's the thing. Thank you. You actually hit the nail on whatever the phrase is. Because you could be working hard, you could be sweating, bleeding, whatever. But if it's not productive, if it's nothing, then what's your hard work? Your hard work is in vain. Like if I'm so-called lazy and the same amount of productivity is achieved by both of us, what's the difference? You're slaving yourself and I can still sleep a little bit. I'm so-called lazy, but we're still getting the same end product out of it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that coming to think of it, it's like you don't need to. It could be perceived like, going back to what a woman said on ITV, Good Morning TV, whatever. This isn't free publicity for them, but I'll mention it anyway. Someone waking up and working from home on their laptop, whatever, and someone that might be, being consistent at work, waking up early in the morning, you know how it is. Those who live in London, going through the traffic, the train, which I'm happy. I don't do that.
Someone gets stuck in the central line, just tight.
The worst line.
Gosh,
the worst line in the whole of London. Don't ever. This is not one of those things you want to try. Don't try central line if you've never ever been on that line. But you can be, for example, on your laptop doing what you're doing in whatever kind of field, and be productive and actually, in a monetary sense, be making, good money for yourself, rather than, even though, for example, the generation previous before us, they worked so hard, they made sacrifices. In fact, there's a lot that we can actually learn, and take from them.
There is,
But in hindsight, if we're being real as well at the same time, maybe that hard work or, that grind didn't take them, it was the bare minimum, from what they wanted as a result.
So what would you say is like the major differences between our generations?
I think, first of all, as humans, something that you don't understand, you always query, you always have a problem with. But I think it's just a thing of, going back to what I said, productivity
Yeah.
and being efficient in like a work sense. Because I think like even the evolution of humans, you know, we don't walk everywhere now. We start to build different kind of inventions.
That's the thing. That's what I wanted to get to. That's what I wanted to get to. Like this whole conversation, you need to factor a couple things. The major differences, like in our generations, the evolution of the internet, the evolution of social media, the evolution of actually, let's even just keep it to the internet now, because I feel like that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Now the internet allows me to be able to send emails instantly, whereas in previous years we had to send letters or whatever. The internet allows me to go and get information straight away. Like I don't need to go to a library to read a book or something like that. I can literally go on my phone and find out that thing.
Yeah.
How? Now, when you consider these things now like that, of course, somebody that is closed-minded will look at us as being lazy because they don't see us going to the library to read a book. But that doesn't mean that we are not, we're not studying or we're not doing anything. Yeah, we've got access to the internet, which is arguably the biggest and one of the most revolutionary inventions that has affected mankind. So there is going to be a difference in the way that we think. There is going to be a difference in the way that we operate. Yeah, it's just the times.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like taking it one step further, personally for me is that like even like last year when I was thinking about like entrepreneurship and like how does that even look like, my mind was tripped for. I'm happy now because like we're learning a lot of things that would have saved us a lot of years, you know, wasted, etc., etc. But I'm happy that I was able to kind of clock in that my mind was tricking me in a sense where, let's say I'm working part-time, but then on that part-time day, I have to wake up, let's say 6 a.m. If I don't wake up at 6 a.m., that means I'm lazy. Or like you said, if I'm not, like we have emails now, if I'm not going to A to B from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., that means I didn't work hard today. And come to think of it now, as we're having this conversation, sometimes the hard work is not necessarily now, because like at times we move forward about, you know, physically going out and actually doing it, but it's the consistency. You know?
100%. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's very closed-minded, conservative way of thinking to think like this generation is lazier or something like that. Because that can always be said. I'm sure the generation before the woman that was talking would have said the same thing. They didn't. They were all living on farms. They had to farm. They had to farm to get their food. You could go to a supermarket or wherever and get your food. So you could always look at it as being lazy, but you have to realize that the world is evolving. And things are changing.
And there are more opportunities now. I was watching a video today, and the person was saying how there aren't any more gatekeepers. I
mean, there are in certain industries. There's gatekeepers in certain industries, but at the same time, like I feel like you can get around those gatekeepers
much easier
than it would have been before.
And much in a smarter way as well.
You can literally break the game. Like
that's a new one. That's a new one, actually. Break the game.
I was thinking about it. The internet now is actually a crazy invention. You can literally do anything. You can do anything. There's no restriction.
That's right.
Apart from the law. But there's no restriction. If you wanted to make a brand, make a brand. Exactly. There's even ways around that. You would download illegal movies and stuff like that. But you can literally go around every obstacle that would have been affecting you when there were so-called gatekeepers.
And looking still on the same topic, looking at like from a different point of view, or let's say family, in terms of like family orientation, do you think us millennials are as family orientated as maybe our predecessors?
You know what? In general, I feel like we are not. But at the same time, you can't look at a whole picture because there's always going to be some people that are and some people that are not, kind of thing. Like for me, I come from a kind of family background, like where there was a respect going like from me to my parents, my grandparents, and all this kind of stuff. And family's just tight. I feel like a lot of African families kind of have that kind of family kind of orientated things instilled in them. But yeah, so like for me, I'm a family orientated kind of guy. But then there's other families and there's other people that I know that it's not really a big deal. Like there's some people I know that Christmas is gonna come and they could just literally be eating in their room.
Wow.
In fact, so someone shout out to my friend.
Be careful.
This guy's telling me that I asked him what's your plans for Christmas. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna eat and that's it. Said what? No family coming around, like, no family yet.
Like he doesn't do that every day.
You know what I mean? And I was just like, wow, that is weird for me. Like Christmas is one of the most, I don't know, like everyone in my family comes around, like, or even if they don't come around, I'm hearing from everybody. It's just very
togetherness.
Togetherness.
I guess that's kind of one of the poison, not maybe poisons, but that's probably the negative side maybe of what we have. Because like, even with all this independency and abilities to do certain things that we were not, well, our generation before were not able to do, it comes at certain prices. You know, so I guess like, I think that definitely plays a part, because if the internet wasn't obviously there back then, you know, internet being a big factor and other stuff that, you know, we can do today as millennials that, for example, our parents or older people couldn't do before. So maybe they would have probably acted in the same way as us.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
You know?
Do you know what's so funny? Yeah. So I remember like being in secondary or like sixth form times and all this kind of stuff, and BBM being around, and even when WhatsApp first came around. I remember I'll be on my phone messaging, and my dad and my mum would be like, oh yeah, get off your phone. You're always on your phone. Now, the tables have turned, because now that my parents now know how to use WhatsApp, these guys are always on it. Sending me silly videos that I don't understand. Do you know how many times I'll open up my gallery and I'll just see one 10-minute video. I don't know what is going on. I don't know what is going on.
With no context.
No context. Oh man, you want? If I show you my family group chat, wow. Anyway, but yeah, it's funny.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. So I feel like that if these guys, if the previous generation were exposed to the same kind of technology and advancement that we have been, I feel like it will be the same thing.
Or giving that example, I don't think my dad ever watched this, but. I went over to my parents' house recently, and then my mom said in a joking way, like, oh, you know, my dad loves movies. I think that's another thing that I gave, because I really love movies.
Okay.
But she also said, oh, like, because, you know, he loves movies so much, she doesn't want to put Netflix on his phone. it's just so funny. Yeah. But it's got to that, you know?
It has. It has.
And I wouldn't look at a state of like, hypocrisy or like, see just, now you're like, but it is what it is.
It actually is what it is. It's just the times, and people are gonna change with the times.
Although I think, like, obviously there are some values that should not change. You know, especially like talking about family. Especially let's talk about the respect as well, man. Respect. I can definitely say that's changed a lot.
It has changed.
For the work,
but I don't know what's the reasoning behind that. I feel like
I don't think that's internet.
I don't think that's internet. I feel like that's more to do with like. I feel like that's more to do with like just society in general.
Like,
because I feel like if you were to go to a country like China or something where discipline is instilled like from the government to families, so there's a system. They still hold their values. Whereas here, it's freedom of speech. Anyone can say anything or do anything. And
some people use it in the advantage in the wrong way.
Exactly. So I feel like we're getting to a point where there's going to be no rules. And anyone can do anything.
Wow. You know,
it's getting to that point. Like, I was thinking about it. I don't know if I'm actually going to raise my kids in this country. I don't know.
Although for people listening, it might feel or watching, might sound like, oh, like really, like it's not that deep. But no, it's you think about it.
I'm actually thinking about it. Honestly, I've had this conversation to actually think, like, am I gonna raise my kids in this country? Because there's too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much.
And when you send your kids kids to school,
yeah,
there could be a lot of conflict from maybe what they're being taught, from the values that you're trying to put on them, and then how do you deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember hearing I can't remember exactly where it was, but kids nowadays, you know, threatening their parents to child services because they don't like the way that they're being treated.
Yeah.
When of course there are certain cases where you know, there needs to be a bit of piping down, but when they're just trying to instill certain values that will actually prepare them, you know, for life down the line.
Anything goes in this society. That's why, like me, I'll move to Africa. I don't know if I'll move to Nigeria, but I don't know. I'll find one nice country. What's good? Angola.
But it's crazy as well because I haven't personally, I haven't been back home for a long time, and I want to go back like within the next like year and a half or whatnot. But from what I see anyway, from like social media and whatnot, I don't know from what you see, you would agree, but would you say that some of these bad values are being copied?
100%. 100%. It is. It's true. 100%. It is being copied. Listen, globalization is not just products and stuff like that. It's culture, lifestyle, all of this kind of stuff. Behavior is everything. And yeah, I agree, because like even like with the rise of like, I don't know, like Afro beats and stuff like that, like little things like that, the way that you'll see someone like Wizkid or someone dressing, you now see like people over there dressing like that. And where did Wizkid and these all get? They saw it from like from the West and stuff like that. So yeah, no, 100%. Some of these values are being transferred, but I still feel like it's on a lower scale than it is here. Like we're fully gone. It's woefully gone. It's woefully gone.
100%.
But there is still, I still feel like there's still traditional values, like moral values that people still hold.
Like, I really do respect countries that really keep that. Because like even I heard, normally for those who watch boxing, in the anti-Joshua fight and Ruiz fight, normally they will have, you know, women dressed in a certain way, you know, to introduce the next rounds. Apparently they don't have that rule there. And I think like even when I went to Dubai for a short time, like the amount of discipline, you know, that they have in their society.
They
don't play games.
They don't. Yeah.
They don't play games. You know. Of course, there could be some leniency, but you know, it's the core values. You know, the core values there that shape you. You know, that kind of help you. So I think it's definitely important to look at both sides. I could see why someone might, you know, say, oh, you know, millennials are this way and that way. But first of all, even though we haven't definitely lived that long, it might be interesting to ask them as well, how were things before, you know, for them?
It's true. It's true. Because like, even, like, I don't know, like with the way I interact with my grandma, or like the stories that she tells me, like you can see that it's different. The life that she lived was different to the life my parents lived. And so I feel like with each generation there is certain things that happen, but I mean it's humanity. That's what it is, just evolution.
Yeah. You think there's any way to change some of this?
Do you know what?
Some of this stigma.
I feel like there's no way that you can change the stigma. Someone that has that view in their head already, I feel like they already got their mind set. Like I don't feel like.
So you don't think they can?
I don't feel like there's any change in it, because for you to have that view.
Examples.
Okay, for you to have that view, that means you've looked at a time where, look at all these technological developments and stuff like that, which is pretty much made by people that have grown up in this new millennium. Look at all the advancements in, I don't know, in so many fields, there's so many areas, there's so many ways that we communicate and do everything. Like, there's been so many advances. This is all down to people that were in this generation as well. there's a rise in the amount of people that are going on to further education. Maybe that's because more people can afford it. You could say that, but at the same time, it still shows that people want to do that. So if these people were actually lazy, they wouldn't go into further education. So there's so many things, there's so many points that I could use to just disprove like what that woman said. I think that's a very ignorant statement. If anything, it sounds like something that Katie Hopkins or someone like that would say. It does.
Unscripted, guys.
Because I feel like this generation, I'm happy to be in this generation. Like, obviously there's bad things about this generation, but I'm happy in the sense that we don't just follow the system. People are more creative, people are more willing to explore and do other things, kind of thing. So I don't feel like you can even call people lazy, because more people are doing more stuff. I don't know if there's any exact figures, but I feel like there's more entrepreneurs now than there ever was. And that's a testament to the times. And a lot of these opportunities were created by the individuals themselves.
That's very true. That's very, very, very true. I think it would be nice to see the past, the present, you know, to compare.
Actually, do you know what? Even quickly, I feel like a lot of these views, come from a lot of these like older generation, like watching like what do you call these shows? Like reality shows and stuff like that. They deem that as I feel like they get their judgment of the perception of this generation through that. Like they watch Love, they see Love Island and all this kind of stuff, or even like these influencers on social media. But then I could even flip it and say, for you to stay current and for you to stay a so-called influencer is a lot of work, you know.
It is.
You have to post every day, and you have to post something that interacts with your followers. It can't just be rubbish content. You actually need to produce content. A lot of these guys are out, like, attending meetings, doing all different things. So, I mean, is that lazy?
It's easy to look
afar and say, it's just, but...
Especially when you have to put yourself out there.
Exactly.
You know, you become like, maybe not say a public figure to an extent, but, you know, you expose a certain area of your life. And you will deal with challenges that they don't.
Exactly. You're open into public scrutiny on a different kind of level. So, I don't know, man. I feel like it's a very ignorant statement. But the funny thing is, I reckon in a couple of years, I'll be saying the same thing to my kids. You know? It's just a cycle. It's a cycle.
Yeah, it's like, I think there are definitely some variables where like, you could, I think personally, like, if someone's mind can be changed. To an extent, because obviously some things, it's like almost monkey see, monkey do.
But what could change? Okay, what could change somebody like that? What could change?
You mean...
What could change her perception, her view of this generation that she hasn't already seen?
I think the most important thing, just like anything, you know, is like actually taking time to find out, you know, ask questions. Although there are still some people that will still be stubborn, but I think it will contribute something, because until I know your situation, I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. Even if it's not right, even if I think it could be done in a different way. But one thing I've learned is that like information changes situations, and it can change your perception a lot. And
that's why I said that statement was ignorant, because I feel like somebody that will make that statement is someone that hasn't fully asked the questions that you're asking. So out of ignorance.
That's very true. Hey. That's very true. You're very true. And one thing I even learned recently is that like certain things that, let's say, millennials before us, I'm now just mixing the jargon. Millennials before us will look at millennials today, will say, oh, that certain things that, you know, in the context of distractions, could be used as opportunities where someone actually builds a career out of it. You know, and it's possible. No, it wasn't possible back then, you know, but it's very possible now. You know, the family thing I think is really deep, because even I've seen myself sometimes where like, it's not that the independence goes to your head, but you don't forget like the foundation. The foundation of like everything. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's even because of, let's say, in the context of family, that maybe in the context of work, your parents did what they did, or they still have certain values that might be different, but it's that I think it's mutual. Like it works hand in hand. I think it works hand in hand. I think both sides need to like acknowledge, you know, where the other has come from. You know, but definitely like, in terms of the statement that was made, I definitely, you know, when it comes to judging, there is no room for that.
There's no, you know, there's only like one example that I could feel like where I could possibly agree with that statement, and that's just because, like, do you know, I'll give credit to like the government in terms of like how they provided opportunities for like people that don't have work and stuff like that, like providing benefits and all this kind of stuff, and a couple people capitalize on that. So in that sense, I could say, this generation is lazy and stuff like that, because if like, I don't know, maybe 50, 40 years ago, I don't know if benefits were around. I don't know I don't think they would have even been earning as much as you would have been earning now, if there even was benefits. So in that sense, I could say, okay, maybe, but to just generalize the whole generation and just be like, we're lazy, we don't want to work hard and stuff like that, I think that's wild. That's wild.
I think it's easy to look at a few examples and then deem everyone, you know, in that kind of space exactly the same, but it's definitely not the right thing, because I guess you could do it both ways. You know, if you're a closed-minded person, I could assume that even though, like, our example of like an African background, it's not all Africans actually. I like that, even though maybe 9 out of 10 are. 9.9. But at the same time, we have to kind of avoid also giving that generalization.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Of everyone else. But looking at it from that point of view. But no, I definitely think that was a good chat.
It was very interesting. I wish we had that woman here just sitting right here. So I can literally just, you know.
Why not? You know, why not? You definitely see, if there's a part 2, you definitely see someone here. Where we can actually sit down and break it down. Why? How? What? Who?
When?
When?
Oh man.
Alright,
part 2, part 3 coming. Shout out Reese. Man.
AJ, we love you, man.
Yeah.
Well done.